Steel production begins with raw materials like iron ore, coal, and limestone for the blast furnace route, or primarily recycled scrap for electric arc furnaces. In a blast furnace, iron ore is transformed into molten pig iron. The pig iron or metal scrap then goes to primarily steel making in a basic oxygen furnace, BOF, or electric arc furnace, EAF, to remove impurities and carbon, turning it into a raw steel. Next, secondary steel making refines the steel composition by adding alloys for specific properties. The molten steel is then cast into semi-finished shapes like slabs or billets. Finally, these shapes are formed through hot rolling and other processes, then finished, e.g. heated, treated, coated, to become the versatile steel products that we see everywhere. From cars to skyscrapers, the entire process is a complex dance of chemistry and engineering, transforming basic elements or scrap into a material essential for modern life. How y'all both doing this fine day? It's Gator here at the cable company. I'm so glad you stopped in to see me today. Today we're going over the American steel industry, also known as the iron and steel industry in the United States. In 2022, the U.S. was the third largest producer of raw steel worldwide after China and India, and ranked the sixth in pig iron production. By November 2024, the industry produced over 74 million net tons annually. The industry produced over 74 million net tons per year as of November 2024. Most iron and steel in the United States is now made from iron and steel scrap rather than iron ore. The United States is also a major importer of iron and steel, as well as iron and steel products. Employment as of 2014 was 149,000 people employed in iron and steel mills and 69,000 in foundries. The value of iron and steel produced in 2014 was $113 billion. As of 2020, about 0.3% of U.S. population is employed by the steel industry. And by 2025, steel mills were only employing 83,600 people, making the industry a relatively small portion of the U.S. manufacturing despite outsized political influence. As of 2022, major steel makers in the United States included Cleveland-Cliffs, Carpenter Technology, Commercial Metal Company, Nucor, Steel Dynamics, and U.S. Steel. Steel mills in the U.S. fall into two categories: traditional integrated mills that process iron ore into steel, and mini mills that melt steel scrap to produce new steel. Mini mills now dominate U.S. steel production. In 2017, there were 9 operating integrated steel mills in the United States, plus 1 idle one, down from 13 in 2000. The integrated mills produce 31% of the steel produced in the U.S. In an integrated steel mill, iron ore is reduced to metallic iron. In the U.S., this is done in the blast furnaces. And since 2014, again using direct reduced iron furnaces in Nucor's plant in Louisiana, as well as another DRI plant producing a compactified version of the DRI called hot briquette iron, or HBI, in Texas by fossilifying. Some of the iron from the blast furnaces is converted to steel. Today, this is done in basic oxygen furnaces. Iron ore, coke, and flux are fed into the blast furnace and heated. The coke reduces the iron oxide in the ore to metallic iron, and the molten mass separates into slag and iron. Some of the iron from the blast furnace is cooled and marketed as a pig iron. The rest flows into basic oxygen furnaces, where it is converted into steel. Iron and steel scrap may be added to both the blast furnace and the basic iron furnace. U.S. Steel operates a number of integrated steel mills, including the Gary Works in Gary, Indiana. They also operate the Edgar Thomas Works, which is an iron and steel making unit of the Mon Valley Works, which includes 3 other related plants. The company operates the Great Lakes Works and the Granite City Works. Cleveland-Cliffs operates every integrated steel mill in East Chicago, Indiana, Burns Harbor, Indiana, and Cleveland, Ohio. In 2020, Cleveland-Cliffs acquired AK Steel Corporation along with its 3 integrated steel mills, one in Middletown, Ohio, Dearborn, Michigan, and the other in Ashland, Kentucky. The Ashland Works is no longer active and has been demolished. The iron and steel scrap, 2/3 of the iron and steel produced in the U.S. is made from recycled scrap rather than from iron ore. In 2014, 81 million MT of iron and steel were produced from scrap. Most steel from scrap is produced using electric arc furnaces. Coke, derived from coking coal, produces iron ore, iron oxides, to metallic iron. Flux materials like lime are added to the furnace to lower the melting point and remove impurity as slag. Other common fluxes include dolomite, soda ash, and fluorspar. Alloy metals. Other metals are commonly added to steel to produce alloy steels of various types. History of the U.S. iron and steel making. The U.S. iron and steel industry has paralleled the industry in other countries in technological developments. In the 1800s, the U.S. switched from charcoal to coke and ore smelting, adopted in Bessemer process, and saw the rise of very large integrated steel mills. In the 20th century, the U.S. industry successfully adopted the open hell process, then the basic oxygen furnace. Since the American industry peaked in the 1940s and 1950s, the U.S. industries has shifted to small mini mills and specialty mills, using iron and steel scrap as feedstock rather than iron ore. Well, there you go. There's my crude little drawing. There you go. There's a little bit about the American steel industry, okay? Thank you for coming in to see me today. I love you guys. You guys are one of a kind. We'll keep doing little things like this every now and then. Come on back and see me. Bye-bye for now.